So I'm assuming you clicked this video because you want to learn how to retire in 5 years through real estate using SMART goals. I broke it out actually, it's all right here, so let's just get into it. Hey guys, Matt McKeever here, and so with 2018 fast approaching, the new year, I figured a lot of us are going to be kind of looking within, trying to figure out new goals, new resolutions for 2018, maybe trying to figure out new habits we want to ingrain in ourselves, or maybe drop some bad habits. And so we all know very few people actually stick to their New Year's resolutions, very few people actually end up changing themselves and implementing new habits. I mean, this is actually such a well-known phenomenon that's pretty much cliche in society these days that no one's actually going to achieve their New Year's resolutions. And just for the record, I'm not perfect either. I'm not claiming to be. I never will be. And I'm actually usually pretty bad at hitting my New Year's resolutions too, even though I actually know better. And so what I mean by I know better is I know that there's a better way to set goals. I know there's a better way to actually achieve what you want to accomplish. And that's by setting SMART goals. So what is a SMART goal? Well, SMART goal is actually an acronym, and that acronym stands for a set of criteria. And if you implement this criteria or kind of implement this process to setting your goals, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to accomplish your goals because you're going to create much more concrete goals rather than these abstract dreams of I want to get rich or I want to be in shape. Those are just way too fuzzy goals. You need to get really specific. And so what does that acronym stand for? There's several different versions of SMART goals, but they're all very similar. So don't get caught up in whether you should be using SMART goal with 2 T's, or SMARTer goals. And so the set of SMART goals that I'm familiar with are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. But nearly in every single version, you're going to have specific, measurable, and timely. Sometimes these letters get changed around. Not a big deal again. Specific is about creating focus and about having a very narrow focus on what your goal is going to be. So in order to get down to the bottom of a specific goal, or in order to make your goal specific, you need to be answering a bunch of questions. Questions like, what do I actually want to accomplish? Why is this important that I accomplish it? Who is involved? What resources are required in order to achieve the goal? And are there any limitations to achieving this goal? M stands for measurable, and again, this is an extremely important one in my opinion. And measurable means you need to actually be able to have criteria that you can achieve. You need milestones. You need to have an end goal. So getting rich isn't a goal. Making $100,000 next year is a goal. It's measurable. It's specific. Now we get into some of the fuzzier stuff with SMART goals. Achievable. The way I interpret achievable and the way I was taught to interpret achievable was, can you reverse engineer your goal? So can you break it into small digestible chunks? Can you break it into steps that you can slowly achieve? If you can't do that, it's not an achievable goal. R stands for realistic. So is your goal realistic? Do you actually have the skills, the resources to accomplish it, or can you acquire the skills and resources in order to accomplish it? For example, I'm in my early 30s now. I've never played a day of hockey. For me to set a goal that I'm going to join the Canadian Olympic hockey team, I mean, that's not a realistic goal at this stage of my life. Unless I pivot and make it realistic by maybe I could become a coach or a towel boy or something like that, or be on their finance team. But I'm never actually going to be a player on the Canadian Olympic hockey team. It's just not realistic. Even though I can make it specific and measurable, and I can reverse engineer the steps that would be necessary technically to achieve it, it's not realistic because I don't have the skill set, the time, or the energy to put into this goal. And even if I did, I don't have the physicality of it anymore. I'm already too old to make the Canadian Olympic hockey team. That was never actually a goal of mine. And so timely. Can you achieve this in a set period of time? Can you set your milestones and have them timed? Because the problem is having milestones but not having dates or not having accountability built in, and that timeliness can really build in accountability. It's important if you actually want to achieve these goals. So yeah, that's SMART goals in a nutshell. If you actually want to achieve your goals, if you actually want to implement those habits, if you actually want to accomplish your New Year's resolutions, make sure that you're setting SMART goals for yourself. Now, let's actually use an example of this. A question I constantly get on my channel, or a theme of questions I constantly get on my channel, are people wanting to get rich through real estate. Getting rich isn't a goal. It's definitely not a SMART goal, at least, because it's not specific, it's not measurable, it's not achievable, it's not realistic, and it's not timely. Now let's break out how you're actually going to figure out how you're going to get rich and what getting rich even means. So let's pretend that my goal is to get rich. Well, if you're having trouble breaking out your goals into SMART goals, I think the key is just start digging deeper into the goal. Why is it important to you? So a lot of people that want to get rich, or a lot of people that contact me about getting rich, they really just want to be able to quit their day job. Some of them want to quit their day job because they want to raise their kids or they want to start having kids. So let's use that as our example. So Our goal isn't actually to get rich, it's to quit our job, but that's still a very fuzzy goal, so I need to keep breaking this out. What do I need in order to actually accomplish this? Well, in order to quit my job, I need to be able to live without a job. I need to be able to live without active employment income. So, in order to live without a job, I need to figure out what I'm currently living off of. What amount of money do I need in order to live? So let's just pretend for this scenario, I currently spend $5K a month. So I'm going to need $5,000 a month in passive income. For this example, I'm just going to ignore taxes and things like that. It's just minutia. This is a high level presentation, so we're just going to stick with it, try and keep it fast. So now that I know that I spend $5,000 a month, it means I need to create $5,000 a month in passive income. Now we're starting to get to a measurable goal, and it's getting a lot more specific. But how am I actually going to create that income? How am I going to create that passive income? For this scenario, I decided that I watched this really awesome YouTube channel that I'm always smashing the like button on, and I'm always sharing this guy's videos on social media, this McKeever guy. So I've decided that I'm going to earn my $5,000 a month in passive income through real estate. So again, I'm getting more specific into my goal. I need to figure out what real estate's going to do that for me. Well, again, I'm watching this Matt McKeever's YouTube channel. He's always talking about BRRRRing rental properties and just these small multifamily properties. So I've decided that that's what I'm going to do. I've looked into my market and I've realized that on average, I can usually make between $100 and $200 a door per month in positive cash flow. So now that I know that I want to earn my passive income through real estate and I want to follow Matt McKeever's approach, I know that I need multifamily properties that are generating approximately $150 per door or per unit in each of the units in the multifamily buildings. So now I can break down the goal into an even more measurable and more quantifiable amount. So I simply take my $150 per door, divide by my $5,000 a month spend, and I'm able to figure out that I need approximately 32 units in order to reach my goal. Now that I know the amount of units I need, which is 33 units, I just need to set a timeline to it and make sure that timeline is realistic. So let's say I figured out based on my income level and my amount of free time and my borrowing capacity that I could acquire, say, 2 to 3 BRRRR properties a year. And let's say I'm focusing on duplexes or triplexes. So I know I can get 2 to 3 properties a year, and they're going to have 2 to 3 units per property. Let's say I'm going to focus on 2 triplexes a year or 3 duplexes a year. So that means I can acquire approximately 6 units per year. So now that I know that I can acquire approximately 6 units per year, and they're going to make $150 average cash flow per month each property, then I can simply focus and figure out, well, how many years is it going to take me to achieve this? And so for simplicity's sake, let's say I'm just going to round, I want 30 units. Then that's going to equal 5 years. So now I have a much more specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely goal. Now I'm no longer trying to get rich. I'm no longer just focusing on quitting my job. I'm not even focusing on just figuring out a way to make $5,000. I figured out that I'm going to do it through real estate. And the type of real estate I'm going to focus on is multifamily BRRRR properties. And then finally, in order to create that $5,000 a month, I'm going to need to acquire approximately 33 units. And so I can acquire 30 units in approximately 5 years. So now I have the timeline. So all I need to do is break this out into smaller, more achievable chunks. Build out those steps, right? I've already said I either want to acquire 2 or 3 properties a year. So that's either every 4 to 6 months I want to be acquiring a property. And if I stick on this pacing, I will reach this goal. So let's just think through this. January 1st, 2018. If your goal is to get rich, how likely do you think you are to actually achieve that? Do you even know when you've hit that goal? So we jump further down. You want to make $5,000 a month in passive income. That's a much better, much more measurable goal. And you technically could stop right there and you have a much more achievable process. But the thing is, you don't have the steps in order to actually get to that $5,000. And that's why we need to keep digging deeper and deeper into the root of the goal and how to reverse engineer this goal to make sure you're going to achieve it. So if instead of getting rich being your goal, or instead of making $5,000 a month be your goal, if your goal was to acquire 1 property every 4 to 6 months that has 2 to 3 units each per property, that feels doable, doesn't it, guys? This pretty much lays out for you a 5-year retirement plan, and you're making $5,000 a month in cash flow. That's actually very solid. That's nothing to cry about. I mean, I'd love to hear your feedback in the comment section down below. Does this feel achievable? And if it's not achievable in your market, would you be willing to move somewhere if it meant you could retire in 5 years? This is the thing that constantly blows my mind. These people that live in these higher cost of living areas and constantly talk about how they'll never be able to retire. And that's like, maybe that's true that you'll never be able to retire in that high cost of living area, but you have to understand that that's a personal choice. That's a trade-off, at least in my opinion. So anyways, jump down in the comment section down below and let me know, what SMART goals are you planning to set for 2018? Later in the year, later in 2017, probably around the last week of December, I'm hoping to release what my personal goals are for 2018. I'm hoping that you guys will keep me accountable. So that's why I want you to tell me your goals in the comment section down below, so I can kind of hold you accountable. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for taking the time. If you haven't already smashed that like button, be sure to smash that like button. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And YouTube wants you to check out the videos down below. But until next time, remember, making money is a team sport. There's more than enough money out there for us to all make it, but if you're not saving it, I mean, like, what's the point, guys? Thanks. Bye.